Boom. Okay, beautiful. So thank you guys all so much for being on with me live tonight. I know we got 3 different teams going on. I can't hear any audio, says Serena. Working on it. I'm sorry, Serena. I have no idea how to help you. Can someone maybe chat through there and see if they can help her while I get this rolling? Um, Whoever's coach that is. So anyways, tonight, thank you guys all so much for being my guests on this call. For those of you that don't know, you are here tonight because your upline coach, either Ashley Odenweller or Megan Ziegler or my girl ADOS, you were invited because of them. So Ashley has been in several of my training groups, I think like 5,000 of them. And her, along with several other coaches that were in my training groups, reached out to me, said, hey, would you mind doing a team call for us sometime? And so I kind of combined several of their teams together. Well, the night I ended up getting sick and having to cancel a call. I was sick for like 3 weeks with like the sinus infection from hell back a couple months ago. And so it got rescheduled. And the night that it was rescheduled, Ashley's team already had something going on. So I said, no worries, we will make another night for you. So tonight we rescheduled for her. And then I asked Megan Ziegler and Miss Alexis Doss to hop on with us. And so thank you guys all for being here tonight. I appreciate it so much. If you don't know who I am, my name's obviously Josh Coates. I'm a speaker, coach, and trainer on the John Maxwell team. Raise your hand if you've heard of John Maxwell. Raise your hand. Okay, good. Most people have heard of John Maxwell. So for those that haven't heard of John Maxwell, he is the #1 leadership trainer on the planet. That is not self-proclaimed. That was rated by Inc. magazine. And actually, while I was in Orlando with John Maxwell a few weeks ago, he got voted #1 leadership trainer for the 7th year in a row, which is just crazy. 7 years in a row, #1 leadership trainer in the world. He's wrote over 100 books now, which is crazy because just a year ago I was talking about 75 books and now he's at 100. He wrote the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, which is the #1 leadership book on the planet, #1 best-selling book. So anyways, I'm a part of his team, which means I've gone through his training to basically speak on personal development, on leadership, to do training, to do one-on-one coaching and mentoring. And my specialty is taking John Maxwell's stuff and putting it into Beachbody terms. How many of you have ever read a book and you're like, that was so cool and I loved it, but how do I apply that to my Beachbody business? Anybody ever had that exact thought? Right? Because you read it and it's good stuff, but it's like, how do I like translate that into Beachbody? So what I do is I take personal development and leadership and I do the translating for you. I work with about 20 or more Beachbody coaches one-on-one. I run training groups every month with usually around 100 people a month in those groups. And that's literally what I do. I take personal development, leadership, I put it into your words. Why Beachbody? My wife is a Beachbody coach. And so when she signed up for Beachbody, at the time I was building my business with very little luck. And she happened to sign up under Brittany Powers, who, if you haven't heard of her, she just hit top 10 this last year. At the time, she was only been in the business about a year. She was already a rock star, but she was kind of like the rookie of the year that no one had heard of yet. And so we started working together. And from there, I don't know, it was just a really, really cool connection that led to me working with lots of other Beachbody coaches. Eventually I said, you know what? I just love Beachbody so much. I'm going to kind of be exclusive to Beachbody. And so that's how that happened. There wasn't like a game plan for that. It just happened. So I am honored that you guys would all join me tonight on your Monday night, give up family time to learn. And I hope that I make it more than worth your time, because tonight we're going to talk about overcoming your fears. How many of you in this business have ran into a fear or two? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. If you don't raise your hand, I'm going to turn the call over to you and let you teach tonight. Because if you're not facing fear, 1, you're not doing anything, or 2, you are Yoda. And if you are Yoda, then I would love to learn from you. So I'm going to talk to you tonight about some very simple ways that I've used to personally overcome fear as I've built my business. Obviously, being an entrepreneur sucks sometimes, right? Sometimes we get lots of no's. We get lots of people that hate on us. In fact, I just had someone last night, I posted about it on Facebook, that literally told me via Messenger that there's no way in the world my training groups were worth the money I was asking for. Straight up said that. She was like, I hate to be honest, but here's the thing. I do free trainings with my upline all the time, and there's no way your trainings are actually worth $200. What I wanted to say was, that's really cool because whoever your upline is, they probably pay me to mentor them. So awesome. That's what I wanted to say, but I didn't. I was kind. I was polite. I just told her the proper professional thing and told her if she ever need anything to let me know. But here's the thing. Because of one stupid person, we can all get bent out of shape very easily and let that fear creep into the back of our head, right? And we can let that alter the way we do everything else from now on. So I want to teach you tonight how to overcome those fears so you don't allow that to happen, so that you don't allow barriers to stand between where you are and where you want to be. Because I know that every single one of you has somewhere that you want to be, and it's not where you're currently at. Am I right? Because if you were 100% satisfied with where you're at right now, you wouldn't be on this call, right? You wouldn't be here to learn and to grow. Here's the thing. I'm not satisfied with where I'm at right now. That's why I get on calls with the John Maxwell team. That's why I read books. None of us should ever be satisfied with where we're at. But what separates us from where we are and where we want to be is usually some type of fear. There's usually something that we're not doing. And that something that we're not doing is usually because we're afraid in one way or another of what could happen if we did it. So tonight I'm going to talk to you about what fear is, why fear is, and then how we overcome it. You have got to know what it is and why it is. Otherwise, when fear keeps creeping up on you over and over and over and over, you're going to think that there's something wrong with you. Guess what? There's nothing wrong with you. How many of you have run into the same fear over and over and over? And maybe at one point, or maybe if you're like me, my first year of business, maybe at 300,000 different points, you thought to yourself, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Come on, raise your hand if you've ever had that thought. I have. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. My first year, I thought that over and over, every single time something bad happened. And I'm just going to be honest, my first year in business, nothing good happened, which meant over and over and over, I was thinking to myself, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Maybe I'm not good enough. Thank God I didn't listen to those thoughts and I kept moving. Okay. So let's talk about first what fear is. I'm going to read you a definition that I got off of Webster's.com. Fear is an emotion induced by a threat perceived by living entities, which causes a change in brain and organ function and ultimately a change in behavior, such as running away, hiding, or freezing from traumatic events. Now, how many people in your business have ever felt like hiding, run away, or freezing? Raise your hand. How many of you have actually given in and ran away, hidden, or froze? Come on, raise your hand. We've all done it, right? Here's the thing. Fear is an emotion. Okay? Not a fact. Not a logic, not a truth, not evidence. It is simply an emotion. In other words, a feeling induced by a threat perceived. Not an actual threat, a threat perceived. You understand that? And when this happens, when we sense this fear, there's a flood of emotions that brings about a change in behavior, which usually results in running, hiding, or freezing. Tonight, I want to teach you how to stop running, hiding, and freezing, okay? But I need you to understand that fear is simply an emotion. just like sadness. Anybody ever felt sad and had no clue why? Like you just wake up on, if you have a day job, you probably wake up every Monday really sad, right? Does that mean you're a sad person? No. It just means you're perceiving the threat of having to go to work, right? And it's causing you to run away, hide, or freeze, or maybe hit the snooze button, right? So here's one of my favorite acronyms for fear that I think is a great definition. False evidence appearing real. Write that down. False evidence appearing real. Now, how many of you can remember when you were a little kid, okay, and it's time to go to bed, and you've got your little PJs on, maybe you got the onesie with the little footies in them, maybe you got like the dinosaurs all over them if you're a little dude like me, or maybe, I don't know, maybe you guys had like princess stuff, I don't know. Is there a dude anywhere? I got to scroll through all 3 pages just to see if there's, I think there, no, maybe not, nope. I don't know if, wait, that's fine, no, I don't know. If there is a dude, he doesn't have his video on, or I just didn't see him. Nope, still no. Okay, anyways, so maybe all of you had princess stuff. That's cool. Whatever. Every once in a while, there's a dude that gets on a Beachbody call. It's pretty rare, but every once in a while, I come across one. So imagine it's bedtime. You're in your PJs. Parents give you your drink of water, whatever. Superman princess jammies. That's rad. That's what my little girl's going to have. And then all of a sudden, everything's fine, okay? If you're like me, or your parents prayed for you every night, gave you hugs and kisses, and everything's cool. Everything's great, right? And then they go to walk out the door, and they turn the lights off. And all of a sudden, oh, there is a dude on. He just couldn't get his video to work. Okay, cool. What's happening there? What's happening there, Scotty? Good to see. Good to hear that there's another dude. All of a sudden, the lights go off, and what happens? Out of nowhere, there's monsters under the bed. The boogeyman is like hiding in the closet. Freddy Krueger is like knocking on the window. Where did these monsters come from? They weren't there 3 seconds ago when the lights were on. They weren't there all afternoon long while I was playing with my G.I. Joes. But now all of a sudden that the lights are out, all this weird, scary, crazy stuff is happening. Why is that? Because when we cannot see, our imagination goes to work thinking up of every possible horrible thing that could go wrong. Right? Would you agree? When we can't see, you ever been like, walking down a dark alley? It's scary, ain't it? Not because there's necessarily someone that's going to like jump out from behind a dumpster, but because you can't see. It's dark. It's scary. Your mind starts thinking up of all the worst things that could possibly happen. Now, do we have anyone on here that is a fortune teller? Raise your hand if you're a fortune teller. Anybody? Let's scroll through here. I don't see anyone. Okay. So I'm assuming that no one on here knows the future. Am I right? Am I right about that? No, we all pretty clear on the fact that none of us know the future? So in regards to the future, the lights are turned out on all of us, aren't they? The lights are 100% turned off. None of us can see 5 minutes ahead. We definitely can't see 5 days ahead or 5 months ahead, which means that as far as the future is concerned, our imagination is always going to work, thinking up the most horrible, traumatic events it possibly can think of to try to scare us into running, hiding, or freezing. In fact, there is a part of our brain, and its only job is to try to figure out anytime we're entering into an undiscovered or unconquered territory. Write those 2 words down. Undiscovered, unconquered. In this part of the brain, its only job is anytime we walk into undiscovered or unconquered territory, Its only job is to set off an alarm inside us, known as fear is what we call it. A flood of emotions literally saying to us, get the heck out of here. This is not a safe place. So that's what fear is. Fear is literally an alarm that goes off on the inside of us, trying to keep us safe from undiscovered and unconquered territories. Now, how many of you along your health journey and along your business journey have had to go into some undiscovered and unconquered territories? Raise your hand. In fact, I would bet that every single time you hear a new national wake-up call, every time you hear a new team call, every time you watch a YouTube video, every time you listen to a Chalene Johnson podcast, you're challenged to go do something that has been undiscovered or unconquered previously. Am I right? Which means, man, our emotions are having an absolute fit all the time because this alarm is just going off all the time. So why? Why do we have this stupid alarm? Like, does God just like hate our guts or what? Like, what's the whole point of this? I want you to imagine caveman days, okay? Before we had Google, before we had these cool things that we used to have when I was a kid, they were called books where we would learn about things. Before any of this stuff existed, imagine walking out of your cave and seeing a saber-toothed tiger for the very first time. Now, without this little trigger sounding alarm in our brain, I personally would have probably tried to pet the saber-toothed tiger. I might even try to feed it. I mean, saber-toothed tigers are cool looking. Wouldn't you guys agree? Those things look rad. Why would I not want to play with it? This part of the brain says, hey, you don't know what that is, so you should be afraid. And when I get afraid, I go run and hide and find a safe place, right? And then maybe peek around the corner to see what the saber-toothed tiger is doing. If I tried to pet a saber-toothed tiger, how many of you know I would get eaten for lunch, right? How many of you have ever touched a really hot burner? Anybody ever forgot that you left the burner on and you like went to like touch it and it hurt really bad? Thank God for the alarm we have in the back of our head that can literally in an instant cause us to change our actions. I mean, you don't touch that thing and then sit there and go, I wonder how hot this is. I wonder if I just hold it here for 5 seconds, if it would actually burn my finger completely off. Like a lightsaber, just like burn my finger. I wonder if that would happen. No, this trigger in your brain sets off like that, and you can move your hand in literally a flash, right? And it may be sore for a little bit, but it's not like you burned your hand off, right? So this part of the brain was put there to protect us. But here's what I need you to understand. How many of you have smoke alarms at your house? Hopefully all of you do, right? Let me ask you something. When the smoke alarm goes off, do you run, grab your kids, grab your favorite 1 or 2 belongings and sprint out the front door? Does anybody do that? What do? You go to find the source. Where's the smoke coming from? And should I be afraid, or is it just mean that Josh is fixing dinner? I don't know how many of you are friends with me on Facebook, but I think it was last week or the week before, I was fixing my kids some Easy Mac. I know it's not on the meal plan, but every once in a while we do fix some Easy Mac. And I am stupid. I forgot to add water. Do you know what happens when you don't add water to the Easy Mac before you stick it in the microwave? It catches on fire. And it smokes the whole house. We had to leave the windows down in the entire house like all night long. It smelled so me being the multitasker that I am, I put the Easy Mac in the microwave and then I went to go pee. I was going to pee while it's in there for 3 minutes, right? Maybe check a couple messages, reply to a couple people. That's right. If you message me, you get responses while I go pee or poop, one or the other. Usually that's how it works, okay? So I'm in there peeing, and all of a sudden I hear, Dad, it's smoking, it's smoking, it's smoking. Thank you, Ashley. No shame. We all do it. It's good to know that people admit it sometimes, right? So I come running out of the bathroom and there's smoke just filling the whole kitchen. And I look at the microwave and there's a fire inside the microwave. The Easy Mac thing had actually caught on fire, which was kind of cool, except for the fact that it smelled really bad. So here's the thing, guys. Did my house burn down? No. Did I need to make an adjustment? Yes. The adjustment I need to make is to never cook again, okay? But here's the thing, guys. Our smoke detector is there to protect us, right? Because if the house is burning down, that's probably a good thing to know if it's the middle of the night and you're sleeping, right? But how many of you know 99% of the time that it goes off, there's absolutely no danger whatsoever, right? Usually you accidentally let something cook a little bit too long. There's a little bit of smoke. Usually it's nothing dangerous at all. The smoke detector is not there to replace our brain. It's simply there to warn us to go investigate. Here's the thing, guys. God gave us fear to protect us, assuming that we would be smart enough to use our brain to find out if it really is a situation where there really is a threat. Here's the problem. Most of us don't use our brain. I'm just being real right now, okay? We sense fear, the emotion takes over, and we 100% give into that emotion every single time without even stopping to think and investigate and find out, is there really a threat here? Or is it just an undiscovered or uncharted territory? Now, maybe you guys aren't afraid of the dark like you were when you were a kid, but let me make this real for you, okay? How many people you knew you needed to do something different with your health and fitness? So maybe you started following someone on Facebook. Maybe you started following someone on Instagram. Maybe someone came and found you through the ADOS formula. I don't know. But you realized you needed to make a change. That's only funny if you've been through the art of recruiting. You realized that you needed to make a change. And so you started looking for something. And you started reaching out eventually to who is now your upline coach. And they told you about Shakeology. They told you about a challenge pack. They told you about the accountability and how they could help get you results. And you were so excited and you thought, yes, I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do it. And then they sent you the enrollment and then you went to sign up. And before you could press the enter button on your computer, your body was just flooded with this emotion of fear. And you started to think to yourself, what if this doesn't work? What if Shakeology tastes like crap? I mean, then you're really screwed, right? You just paid $130 for a pack full of like actual dog crap. Like you get it and it's literally just dog crap. It's just this big scam, right? Or it's a pyramid scam, right? So what if they're literally just trying to get your money? What if you hit play and you can't even keep up with Shaun T for the first 2 minutes? Now, I don't know about you guys, but Shaun T scares the crap out of me. I don't even like to watch the guy work out, more or less work out with him. My goodness. All of these fears start to flood you. But if you're on this call, apparently you did hit that enter button at some point. You got your challenge pack in the mail. You tried Shako, and it may have tasted a little bit funny at first, but if you figured out what to mix it with, me personally, I like to have half a scoop of chocolate with half a scoop of cafe latte with a couple tablespoons of peanut butter and some almond milk. Dude, that's the best thing in the world, I'm telling you right now. But anyways, eventually you found a combo that you liked. You probably fell in love with Shako, fell in love with the workouts, and saw results, right? I'm assuming you would not be on this call tonight if you had not at least seen some results from the products that you offer, right? And then because you did such a great job in the challenge group and you had such amazing results and you were such a positive person, someone reached out to you and said, you know what? You have such great energy, and I love having you in the challenge group so much. I would love it if you would join my team and become a coach. I think you would just make such a great coach, right? Isn't it funny how happy and friendly we are with people that we want to become coaches? And you said, oh, okay, I think I can do that. I'll give it a try. You signed up for a coach, and once again, the emotions started flooding. What if I can't help other people lose weight? What if I can't sell challenge packs? What if I'm a sucky coach? What if no one wants to be a part of my team? All these fears, right? Start flooding you, try to scare you to death to try to get you to run, hide, or freeze. But most of you hopefully have found that if you just show up every single day, do your 3 vital behaviors every single day, eventually you do see some progress. People do buy from you, and people do get their own results. Even though you're not health and fitness experts, you hook them up with the products, you give them the accountability, and it works, right? Right? How many people on here have helped people lose weight? Come on, raise your hand if you've helped somebody lose weight. And how many of you are health and fitness experts? Keep your hand up if you're a health and fitness expert. One person, cool. One person is a health and fitness expert, but the rest of us have all helped someone lose weight, right? And then we start thinking about this whole thing called recruiting. Talking to people about the business. Oh my gosh. That's scary crap, right? I mean, I can talk to them about Shaco, I can talk to them about a challenge pack, whatever, but the business? It's like this whole new fear comes along when we have to talk about the business. Everyone is scared to death of the big recruiting word. It's like a cuss word or something. Like, what? No, I'm not going to recruit anybody. That's crazy talk, right? And you think, what if I can't help people have a successful business? I'm not a successful coach, so how would I help other people become a successful coach, right? How many people have ever thought that? Come on. You think, what if I'm not a good leader? What if I recruit all these people and I'm such a sucky leader that everyone just fails or hates me or whatever? You start thinking of all these crazy things that could happen if you start using the R word, right? Recruiting, if you didn't catch that. And so you have this huge fear. But once again, if you take it one day at a time, start talking about the business, start posting about the business, start inviting people to the business, eventually you realize that you can recruit people and you can help people become successful coaches. Not because you're coaching experts. None of you are coaching experts any more than you are health and fitness experts. But if you give people the right resources and accountability and support, anyone can do it. Everyone deals with fear every single day. Guys, I work with people that are in the Millionaires Club. I work with some 15-star diamonds. I work with top 10 coaches. Can I just tell you this right now? Every single one of them face fear every single day, just like you do. I was with John Maxwell a few weeks ago. Guess what he deals with? Fear. Guess what we all deal with? Fear. Why? Because if you are growing, you should continuously be moving in to undiscovered and unconquered territory, which means you will be faced with fear at every single level of growth in your entire life. If you ever get to the point where you're no longer afraid, that's when you should really be afraid, because that means you have stopped growing and you're not going anywhere in your life. So if you ever get to the point where you're not afraid, then you need to stop and think, holy crap, what's wrong? But as long as you wake up every single day with fear staring you in the face, you should feel confident that you're at least moving forward, that you're at least going into undiscovered territory, which means your life is going to have new meaning and help new people. So, isn't that the best news that you've heard all day? that fear is going to stare you in the face for the rest of your life? Isn't that amazing? Aren't you guys just so excited? Thank you, Josh. You were the best motivational speaker ever. We love you, right? Okay, no, that sucks. It does, guys. It sucks that fear is always going to be there. But that's why I want to teach you tonight how to overcome fear. How many of you would love to know how to overcome it? Now, again, let me preface this by saying this doesn't mean there will never be fear and it will never go away. This is just how we face it and move forward. But every time we face it and move forward, a new fear will show up, which means we have to keep reapplying what I'm about to teach you over and over and over. I still use this stuff all the time. I use it on myself. I'll literally be driving down the car. I don't drive down the car. I drive down the road, and some stupid fear will pop into my brain, and I will literally walk myself through these steps to help me move forward. So you guys ready to know what those 3 steps are? Okay, good, because I'm going to tell you anyways. Number 1, write this down, please. Say it out loud to someone you trust. Say it out loud to someone you trust. Now, that second part is very important. Someone you trust, okay? Not some mom's group on Facebook where everyone's negative and looking to like feed negativity, okay? Someone you trust, someone else that is also moving forward and growing. Here's why. How many of you have ever been talking to someone about a problem you were having? And literally, as you say it out of your mouth, as the words come out of your mouth, you're like, oh my gosh, I just answered my own question, didn't I? Anybody? That ever happened to anybody? Happens to me all the time. Why? Because remember the smoke alarm in your brain, that trigger, that it has no logic to it whatsoever. Its only job is if it senses smoke, just go crazy, okay? There's no logic attached to it. When we say it out of our mouth, it has the ability to go back into our ears, into our brain, into the logical part of our brain. Sometimes we are so emotionally attached to the situation that our brain is literally not functioning. We're 1,000,000% thinking with emotions and not with logic. Sometimes as it's coming out of our mouth, we hear it ourselves, and logic kicks in and we realize how stupid we're being or what we should be doing. If not, hopefully that friend that you trust can sit and listen to what you're saying and be your sounding board and say back to you what they're hearing that you're just simply not hearing because you're so emotionally attached. I do one-on-one mentoring, okay, with some of the most successful people in this company. And I'll just tell you this right now. I don't usually teach them new things. I just ask them questions to get them talking so that I can listen to what they're saying and then kind of sound it back to them. Okay, now this is what I hear you saying. You're saying that this is what's most important to you, and this is how you should fix it, and this is what you should do. And they're going, whoa, how did you do that? Well, I literally just listened to you. You see, most of the time, you already know the answer, but you're really struggling to detach your logic from your emotion, right? And so as you literally just say it out of your mouth, it's really, really easy for someone on the outside to look at the situation you're going through and think with logic because they're not emotionally attached. How many of you have ever been in a horrible relationship and you had no idea, but all your friends were warning you about it the entire time? That ever happened to anybody? And your friends are like, dude, you need to be careful because that guy is an idiot. And you're going, no, he's so sweet and he's so cute and I love him so much. He makes me feel so special. And all of your friends are like, he is literally the biggest tool I've ever met in my life. And you're like, no, he bought me flowers 7 months ago. He's so sweet. There was like 3 months ago where he like called me. And all of your friends are like, you are an idiot. But you're so emotionally attached to the idea of being with him, you don't want to think about being without him. Meanwhile, all of your friends on the outside are watching and can very easily see what a douche he is. You just can't see it, right? So that's why it's so important to say it out loud to someone you trust. Again, someone you trust. Okay? Don't go talking to just anybody about your fear and about your problem, because those of you that have read the 10X rule by Grant Cardone, you know that most people in the world say things like this. It's okay. Don't try so hard. Stop stressing yourself out. It's not a big deal. Just find balance. And they're always trying to talk you out of working hard and earning the life that you really want. Do not let non-growing people be your sounding board. They will always talk you out of facing your fears and into being comfortable and complacent. Don't listen to them. Please don't listen to them. Okay? Your life is worth more than going to a job you hate every day and coming home and watching 6 hours of Netflix. Okay? Your job is worth more than just barely getting by, barely paying the bills, never having enough to live the life you really want. I lived that life for the first 12 years of my marriage. Me and my wife are happily married, but I worked a day job where I made barely enough. And when I say barely enough, I mean every time a bill showed up, we were checking to see how, if we had to pay it in order to keep it from being shut off, or if we could put it off for 2 or 3 more weeks. Every single paycheck, living like that for 12 years. Fortunately, around year 11, I decided to go start a business, to get training from the #1 leadership trainer on the planet, and to work my tail off to build a life that my family really deserved. Now I have the money to take my kids and do fun stuff and enjoy life and buy things for my wife. We have a little girl on the way. It's our 4th kid. And we have the money. We just went out and bought a new crib and a new dresser for her. I think my wife went and bought like 30,000 other things for her today, and I don't even care. It's not a big deal. Whereas literally 1 year ago today, I would have been just looking at those envelopes, literally just like ignoring my mail, because I never knew what was getting shut off next or what was getting taken away next. You deserve more. Stop talking to people who don't want more. Surround yourself with growing, learning, positive people. Tell everybody else to shut up or get away. And I know that sounds really, really, really mean. But there are so many people in this world. They want to suffer and they want company. We all know the old saying, misery loves company, right? There is one thing that miserable people will not tell you to do. They will not tell you to chase your dreams and grow, because it'll make them feel like crap, right? So stop surrounding yourself with those people. Surround yourself with growing people. If your spouse is one of those people, well, just read extra, okay? I'm not telling anybody to leave their spouse, okay? But avoid the people in your life that you can that are like that. Got me? Okay, that was a little bit of a detour. Number 2, ask yourself this magical question, my favorite question in the world. What do I have to lose versus what do I have to gain? This is the most magical question you can ever ask yourself or anyone else that you care about. What do I have to lose versus what do I have to gain? And let me give you a personal example on this, okay? I run Facebook ads. Some of you may actually see my face every day in your newsfeed. I hope that you do. If you do, my Facebook ads are working. And I spend about $200 a month on Facebook ads, but I'm about to double that because they're doing really good. And when I first started doing this a couple months ago, I was driving down the street. This is how stupid fear is, guys. This is how stupid fear is. I was driving down the street, and in the back of my brain, I thought, what if I spend so much money on Facebook ads that I literally drive my business into the ground? Now, you heard me a second ago. I spend $200 a month on Facebook ads, not $2,000. Okay. Now, hopefully you realize how stupid fear is, right? I'm spending $200 a month on Facebook ads. Okay? Now, I mean, that's literally nothing. Okay? $200 a month is literally nothing. But in the back of my head, I'm like, man, what if I spend so much money on advertising that like I literally, I know that you got to be smart with your money. You got to be smart so you don't like spend it all and run like rich people. They're smart with their money. People always say that, well, they didn't get that way from giving away all their money or spending all their money. They got that way from it. So I start thinking, man, what if I drive my business into the ground? So I asked myself that question. I stopped, thankfully, before it went too far and said, what do I have to lose versus what do I have to gain? And I thought, and I really thought about this for a second. What do I have to lose? $200 a month? Now, don't get me wrong. A year ago, $200 a month was a lot of freaking money to me, okay? But at this point, I was charging almost this much for 1 hour of my time for my one-on-one mentoring, okay? So we're literally talking about like an hour and a half of my month down the drain, okay? But this is how stupid fear is, guys. What if I spend so much that I run my business to the ground? And then I realized, once I stopped and thought about, what do I have to lose? Okay, $200 a month. And then once I thought about what I charge for an hour of my time, I realized how stupid that was to be afraid to lose $200. But what do I have to gain? I mean, it's endless, right? For $200 a month, there's about 10,000 people a month that see my picture, see my name, and hear about my training groups. 10,000 people a month. That's a lot of freaking people, right? Now, even if I just convert on 0.05% of those people, I'm going to make my money back, right? Not only that, but since I started using logic and started using my brain, I thought, if $200 a month really could run my business to the ground, my business is screwed anyways, right? I'm just done for. So if my business is that pathetic that $200 a month could crash the whole thing, then I'm screwed anyways, and I might as well go out having a good time. See how stupid fear is, guys? Now, I'm guessing that most people on this call, because I know Beachbody coaches, okay? I work with lots of you. I know what you're going through. I know what you're struggling with. And my favorite scenario to run you through is invites, right? Everybody's scared to death of that vital behavior. We don't mind being a product of the product. Drinking Shakeology, I mean, come on, it's a chocolate freaking smoothie. If you can't handle that, then I don't know what you can handle. And then working out every day. You know what? It's hard. It's tough. But usually we realize how valuable it is and how beneficial it is to our life, right? Personal development, I mean, if you have to, you can put on an audiobook while you do the dishes or drive a car, right? But invite. That's some scary crap, right, guys? I mean, I would say, now this is just Josh statistics, okay? This is not official from Beachbody headquarters or anything like this, okay? But according to my statistics, in other words, the research that I've done from speaking on, 20 or 30 team calls and 3 or 4 Super Saturdays and the 100 or 200 one-on-one sessions I've had with people, this is just my opinion. 80% of the people on this call are not inviting on a daily basis. And I can tell from the looks that I'm getting back that my statistics are accurate. Because if they weren't, a bunch of people would be like, what? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Who's this guy think he is? Freaking like Yoda or something? Think he's like doing some like Jedi mind tricks? No, I invite every day. But I didn't really get any looks like that, which tells me that most of you would agree with me. Maybe you didn't know that everyone else on the call was struggling with that, but now you do. Okay? You're not alone. Trust me. So let's walk through what you have to lose versus what you have to gain. Okay? And let's be honest about it. Okay? I'm not going to try to sugarcoat this and make it sound like it's something that it isn't or that there's nothing to lose, because there is something to lose. Okay? Anytime you do something, there's something to lose. So let's think about, by shooting invites to people, meaning, Hey, will you join my next challenge group? Hey, do you want to come to my coach's sneak peek? Hey, whatever. Some of you are doing daily convos, but you're forming people to death, so you never get to the point of actually inviting them to something. You have been talking about their dog for 6 months now, and you are so overwhelmed with the thousands of messages you're trying to keep up with that you've actually stopped doing new conversations because you're so sick and tired of talking about everyone's dog. And you're going, this sucks, man. I don't know how my upline coach does it, but I can't keep up with all these conversations. I mean, I forget who has a dog and who has a cat and who has a parrot. This is ridiculous, right? And the problem is you never got to the invite, which means you just have 1,000 convos going on and none of them are getting closed out because you're scared to death of those words, will you, right? So one of two things is happening. You're either having a crap ton of convos that are going absolutely nowhere, or you just ain't having convos at all because you're sick and tired of having convos that ain't going nowhere. Josh is Yoda. I've just talked to a lot of Beachbody coaches. I promise I'm not Yoda. So here's the thing. Let's think about this for a second. What do you have to lose by actually inviting? Number one, they could be really big jerks, like the person that messaged me last night and said, I hate to be this honest, but there's no way in the world your training is worth $200. That sucks, guys. I'm not going to lie. It hurt my feelings pretty bad. Like, I'm kind of an emotional person. I tell people that I'm wired a little bit more like a chick than I am like a dude, which is why I work so well with Beachbody coaches, okay? It really did hurt my feelings. Like, I really, really, really wanted to tell her off. I wanted so bad to tell her that not only is $200 for 4 weeks with me an incredible deal, but I actually charge one-on-one clients $200 for 1 hour. So what do you think of that? That's what I wanted to say so bad because she hurt my feelings so bad, I wanted to hurt her back. Isn't that how we usually work? Hurting people, right? Thank God I'm a little more professional and I was able to hold it in. But man, I wanted so bad to let her have it. So that's what we have to lose. Someone could potentially say something really mean to us and make us feel really crappy. And I really hate it when people make me feel crappy when I'm out there trying to make a difference in the world. And that chick's probably watching Netflix and eating Ben and Jerry's. Right? That's why she doesn't see the value in what I offer. So someone could be mean and hurt your feelings. And that sucks. Okay? Or someone could ignore you. Right? And that kind of hurts your feelings, that they saw your message, that they see you're putting yourself out there, and they don't even have the balls to respond. And that makes you feel like trash sometimes, right? To know that people read your message and they don't even take the time to respond. Like, what am I to you? Like nothing, right? That you won't even take the time to say no, right? The other thing that could happen is they could block us or they could unfriend us. And that hurts really bad too, especially if you have that special app that shows you all the people that unfollow you on Instagram. That's never any fun to get, right? I actually have, if you go to my website, joshuacoates.com, I have a free book that you can get. All you have to do is enter in your email address and you get my free book. But here's the thing. I don't just get a notification of every day of people that subscribe to get my book. I also get a notification of all the people who unsubscribe. That's real fun, right? To see the names of all the people who unsubscribe to your email list, that makes you feel real nice about yourself, right? But here's the thing. At the end of the day, that really is all you have to lose, isn't it? Basically, you could lose your pride, could lose your ego, and you could get your feelings hurt pretty bad, right? I mean, it takes less than 30 seconds to actually send an invite. So you're not really costing yourself any time, and it doesn't cost you any money. And if it takes you longer than 30 seconds, please stop thinking about what color their dog is and just invite them to a freaking challenge group. My gosh, okay? Stop overthinking it. So now we know what there is to lose. And that is something, right? It is something to hurt, to feel pain, to feel rejected. But here's what I want you to think about. What do you have to gain? As we are all sitting here right now, being encouraged, hopefully, being inspired, hopefully, and learning, hopefully, with a family of people who believe what we believe, who are excited about what we're, in other words, while we're sitting here enjoying community and growing, there's someone else, and not just someone else, many someone else's that are sitting in a couch right now where you were a few years ago. And they're thinking to themselves, is there any hope for me? Can I ever change? Will I ever find my identity again? Will I ever get over this stupid food addiction? Will I ever come out of this depression? Will I ever find life again? Or am I just doomed to wake up and basically hate my life forever? There are literally people sitting on the couch right now as I speak, and they're considering taking their own life. In fact, I would bet that at least 20% of the people on this call at some point in their life considered ending it all. Now, I'm not saying that that was necessarily because of health and fitness reasons, but come on, guys, you should know by now, Beachbody is not just about health and fitness. It's changing from the inside out, right? There are people, as we speak, going through the hardest time of their life. Some of them are going through divorces. Some of them maybe lost a family member. They're struggling with depression, and everyone in their life is suffering as a result of it. You can't tell me that a mom who struggles from depression, that does not affect the whole family. Am I right? You can't tell me that doesn't affect her friends and the people around her. And while those people are suffering, we are sitting at home with all of the tools, all of the resources, everything we need, and yet not inviting a single person because we're scared that they might ignore us. I mean, that's just the truth. It doesn't feel good, but it's the truth. The truth usually doesn't feel very good. We have every single tool to help people change their lives, and we're not offering them because someone might say our prices are too high. You getting that? I spoke for Micah Folsom and her team the other night, and something came out of me that I'd never really thought about before. But something I've got to just keep saying over and over and over, and that is this. Fear is selfish. I mean, think about that for a minute. If you are giving into your fear, it's because you're not thinking about what other people need from you. You're just thinking about how it makes you feel. Man, it sucked last night to have someone tell me that my prices weren't worth it. Why? Because when I created The Art of Recruiting, one of my biggest fears was that Beachbody coaches wouldn't want to listen to me tell them how to recruit. Because I'm not a coach. I don't recruit people. That was one of my biggest fears. But as I bounced it off my one-on-one clients, every single one of them said, oh my gosh, Josh, this is exactly what our coaches need, and you are the perfect person to deliver it. So I said, oh, okay, cool. So that was a stupid fear, right? My other biggest fear was this. My other training groups, Clarity and Focus, was $50. Art of Leading was $100. I decided to raise the price on this one to $200. Why? Because it was going to come with more value than I've ever offered before. It was going to come with daily check-ins, all kinds of extras, including Facebook ad training. Basically, like, not trying to hype up my training, but the art of recruiting is literally everything I could possibly give you into 4 weeks. Ashley went through it. She said it's 100% worth it. I upped my prices because I knew I had upped my value. But something in the back of my head was still scared. Josh, that's too much. Like, you can't charge $200. Your training isn't worth $200. That was the fear in the back of my head. Now, that fear got shut up pretty quick when 100 people signed up in the very first month of running it. I mean, that was pretty cool, right? That it always shuts fear up when you have something really awesome happen, right? But here's the thing. 100 people said yes, and one person says, you're not worth it, and I'm crushed. Now, how ridiculous is that? It is ridiculous, right? That I would let the words of one person crush me when 100 people said, wow, it's worth it, went through the training, and all of them said, dude, that was more than worth it. I would have paid even more for that. But one person says, you're not worth it, and I'm crushed. Why? Because fear is selfish. For 10 minutes, I let myself stop thinking about the 100 people that I added value to, the 100 people that I had helped grow their business, the 100 people that I had helped go to a place they've never been before. For 5 minutes, the only thing I cared about was how it made me feel. And that is selfish. It is 100,000 million %. I know that's not a real number. It is 100% selfish to stop doing what you know is right and what you know could change other people's lives because you are afraid of what it might feel like to you. I hope you guys are getting this. Nod your head if you're getting this. Give me a nod. Okay. When I first started growing my business, one of the ways I grew it was sending out messages to people. I was sending out messages galore. Alexis Doss is on this call tonight because of these messages. And my message said something like this. Hi, my name is Josh Coates. I am a trainer on the John Maxwell team, and I work with several Beachbody coaches, including Brittany Powers and Emma Owen. And I wanted to see if you might be interested in a free call with me so that we can chat to see if there's anything I can help you with in your business. Okay. I still haven't memorized. I haven't sent that message in like 6 months. Okay. That's how many of them I sent out. Okay. And it felt so scammy to say that to people. It felt gross on the inside. I hated it every time. The same way you guys probably feel when you say, oh, that's so cool. I'm glad to hear that your dog is doing good. By the way, I've got a challenge group coming up next week. Do you think you'd be interested in joining me? It feels like crap, right? It feels like someone is just like reaching into your guts and just like twisting them up into a big ball and ripping them out, right? And it felt like that every single time, but I hit send anyways. And I felt so scammy doing it. But I cannot tell you how many times I've been on a call with someone and they said, Josh, you have no idea how long I've been struggling with that issue and have literally been praying for someone to come along and help me through it. In 1 hour, you literally just helped me break through an obstacle that I've been struggling with for the last 2 years. Now, all of those crappy, scammy feelings were so worth it to just help one of those people. Right? How many of you, when you first became a Beachbody coach, said, it would be so worth it even if I could just help one person? We all said that, didn't we? Because that was our original heart. Our original heart's desire was to just help somebody. And somewhere in the process, we got so caught up in numbers, so caught up in rank advances, so caught up in the leadership ladder that we forgot We signed up just to help people. Now, I'm not dogging on Success Club or rank advancements or the leadership ladder. I've helped lots of people climb all of those things. But here's the thing. If you focus too much on the numbers and not enough on the mission, you will never face your fears, because there's no number on the planet that's worth feeling that crappy. But helping people, it's so worth feeling that crappy, guys. It's so worth it to wake up in the morning and have a fresh message waiting for you that says, Josh, thank you so much for the training you provide. You literally helped me have the biggest breakthrough in my business this month. I just went to a whole new level, and I am so excited about my business now. That right there, guys, it's magical. Nothing in the world can replace that feeling. But here's the thing. Most of us, I don't want to say you, because I do it too. We all do it. We forget about helping people, and we get so caught up in the numbers that we actually trick ourselves into thinking that it's all about us. And when we think it's all about us, we're not going to go through that kind of pressure and that kind of crappy feelings. We're not going to do that for us. Now, I hope that you have a very strong emotional connection to your why, and you would do it for you. But the truth is, there are millions of people out there that need you to do it for them too. Do you guys understand that? You get what I'm saying? Fear is selfish. Don't listen to it. Don't give in. Think about what you have to gain. And my third thing that's going to help you overcome your fear, and I actually just mentioned it, is have an emotional connection to your why. Why do you need this to work? I know I've already gone an hour. I promise I'm almost done. I know on the East Coast it's getting late, but just hang with me, okay? I'm going to give away a couple free trainings when we're all done here. But I really, 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 really need you to get this, okay? I told you, for the first 11 years of my marriage, we had nothing. I mean, just living paycheck to paycheck. Anybody else ever gone so far outdated on the tags on your car that you get pulled over and almost go to jail? Yeah, that happened to me one time. But thankfully, it was a Sunday morning. The kids were with us, and we were on our way to church. So they gave us a warning and told us to just go get it taken care of. So yes, we went and got new tags the next day. Okay? But here's the thing. Some of you have heard this story, but a lot of you haven't, because you've never heard me before. So just bear with me if you've heard this story 30 times now, okay? I detailed cars for a living. First of all, if you need a job, just don't take a job detailing cars. It's awful, okay? Don't ever do it. I don't care how bad you need money. Go donate some plasma or something. Detailing cars sucks, okay? So we had to detail cars on commission, which means that I only got paid for each car that I completed, okay? So I couldn't just sit around and play on my phone. I had to crank out cars over and over. Now, I made okay money if I cranked out a car an hour. Me and a buddy would have to partner up and crank out a complete full detail once an hour, which means we did about 8 cars a day to make the kind of money that I needed to make. The first 3 years of my job, I drank about 6 Mountain Dews and 4 coffees a day just to keep my momentum, my energy level high enough to be able to put out that kind of work, which, yep, you guessed it, means I came home very, very grouchy. Weekends, I literally just sat around yelling at people, doing absolutely nothing, okay? I had no energy once I got home from work. I had no paid time off, none. No vacation time, no sick time, which means I worked sick every time I got sick. Unless I was throwing up, I was working. I didn't take vacation time because I couldn't afford to. I couldn't miss a paycheck. I lived like that for 11 and a half years. So when the opportunity came to join the John Maxwell team, to build my own business and have the opportunity at Life by Design, I came home from work every single day, covered in sweat, tired, exhausted, sometimes sick. And I asked myself this, Josh, you can do what everyone else in America does. You can go sit in front of the couch and you can watch TV the rest of the night and soak away your pain and forget about it for the next 8 hours before you have to wake up and do all that crap again. Or you can do something about it. Now, I worked my business about three hours a day when I would come home from my day job, which sucked. It was no fun to do. But I said, A, you can work 3 hours a day after your day job for the next 5 years at the absolute worst case scenario, and then live the rest of your life however you want. Or you can come home and be lazy like the rest of America and hate your life for the rest of your life. Which one's worse? I 100% believe in positive thinking, in positive attitude, in all of this stuff. But here's the thing. Sometimes we have such positive attitudes that what we're really doing is avoiding the facts. You cannot avoid the facts that you're faced with and ever make a change. Positive thinking does not change your life. Action does. Let me say that again. Positive thinking does not change your life. Action does. Now, is positive thinking important? Yes, because every single day I had to come home from work and give myself positive thoughts to just do anything. But thinking positive all night was not paying any bills and was not moving my business forward. Action was. And every single time I came across a fear, something that I was scared to death to do, I asked myself, Josh, do you want to live the rest of your life at this stupid job that you hate? Or do you want to do this thing that your mentor told you need to do, even though it scares you to death, and move forward? Do you want to keep reaching out to people? Do you want to keep putting yourself in an uncomfortable position? Which one is worse? To be uncomfortable moving your business forward, or to be uncomfortable not having any money, not having any vacation? Either way, you're uncomfortable, guys. Think about that for a second. Either way, you're uncomfortable. So do you want to be uncomfortable in a way where your life stays the way it is now for the rest of your life? Or do you want to be uncomfortable in a way that moves your life forward, helps your family, helps your future, and gives you the opportunity to change lives around you? Which uncomfortable do you want? Because I would bet your life is uncomfortable either way. Now, what's really hard is when people's lives are comfortable the way they have it. Some of the biggest challenges come for people that say, you know what, we actually make plenty of money. We make plenty of money, Josh. We're not like you. We don't struggle financially. We got plenty of money and everything is okie dokie. But my question is everything okie dokie, or are you actually happy? There's a really big difference between being comfortable and being happy. So you got to ask yourself this. Do I want to live the rest of my life comfortable, having enough? Or do you want to live the rest of your life doing what you're passionate about? You hear what I'm saying? And some people say, yeah, but we're doing okay. We got plenty of this. I don't really know if I want to stretch myself or make those sacrifices. And I always ask them this. For people that have kids, you'll understand this. Not everyone does, but if you have kids, you'll understand this. Do you want your kids to grow up and live the absolute best life they possibly can? Every mom and dad is shaking their head. Yes, I want my kids to have everything. The only way they will ever do that is if you show them what that looks like. Don't you dare live a mediocre life and then tell your kids to go chase their dreams. How hypocritical is that? I'm just going to live this mediocre life that barely gets by, and we're happy because we have plenty of money and we can go on vacations, even though I'm not doing what I love, even though I'm not doing what I'm passionate about, even though I'm not living my best life. I'm still living a pretty good life. But I want you to go live your absolute best life and chase your dreams. See how hypocritical that is? You want your kids to live their dreams? You better show them what that looks like. Not only that, but I don't know about you guys, but I want my kids to have everything. And the only way for them to have everything is for me to give them everything that I have. In other words, I want my business to grow so big and so incredible that one day my kids, they'll get to my age and go, thank you so much, Dad, for giving me all of that. Now I'm going to go learn more. And then I'm going to give my kids something better than what you gave me. That is legacy. Legacy is when you set your kids up to succeed more than you ever could, and you teach them how to do the same for their kids. In other words, you just keep growing bigger and bigger and bigger. Why? Not because we're all trying to have big mansions, but because there are billions of people that need help, and the only way we can help them is to grow big enough to reach them and find them. It's always about helping more people. I hope you understand that. I hope you don't come away from this call thinking Josh is about making a bunch of money and building big mansions. I like money. It's cool, but it's not as cool as helping people. Nothing in the world can replace seeing the light come on inside someone else and seeing them find their purpose and find their passion and then live out their dreams. Nothing in the world can replace that, guys. But you can't find your own purpose or your own passion or your own dreams living inside your comfort zone, and you definitely won't help someone else find their purpose, their passion, or their dreams in your comfort zone, which is why we have to face our fears. I hope you guys all got that. So that's all I have for you tonight. I want to do a few giveaways, though, before we hop off. And then for anyone that wants to hang out for a little bit, I've got a little bit of time to do some question and answer if someone has something specific, some specific fear that you're facing that you want to just run off of me or whatever, okay? So here's what I want to do. First of all, this is going to be a little tricky because I know we have 3 different teams on here, okay? So first of all, I need you to raise your hand if you are on Ashley Odenweller's downline. If you are in her downline, raise your hand. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give away 1 free training to a person from each team, okay? So Terrence's iPad raised hand. That's awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a number between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay. Siri's going to pick our lucky winner here tonight. Are you ready? Pick a number between 1 and 21.
It's 21.
It's 21. Wow. Siri wants to pick the very last person. Okay, so I'm going to scroll over. Keep your hands up. Keep your hands up because you don't know where you're at on my screen, okay? Keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. And the winner is Jasmine Sandoval. Jasmine Sandoval, you are the winner. So Jasmine, when this call is over, whenever you get a chance, make sure and find me on Facebook, okay? Josh Coates, that's pretty easy. And shoot me a message. Let me know that you were a winner tonight on Ashley's team, and you can go to joshuacoates.com, pick any training group that you want to sign up for, and I will make sure you get a free spot, okay? So next, we have Megan Ziegler's team. If you're on Megan Ziegler's team, raise your hand. All right. We got some girls that are they're like, I'm on Megan's team. I am excited. I love it. I love it. All right. 1, 2, 3, let's see, 4, 5. Some people I got scratchy head and I can't figure out who's raising their hand. 6, 7. Okay, 7. Keep your hands up, okay? Keep your hands up. Pick a number between 1 and 7.
That would be 5.
That would be 5. I love Siri's language. 1, 2, 3. Keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and the winner is Kyla Dance. Kyla Dance, you are the winner on the Zieg team. So you can do the same thing. Go to joshuacoates.com. find the training that you would like to sign up for. Hit me a message and I'll get you enrolled, okay? Now let's do Dos's team. Who here is on Alexis Dos's team? Where are you at? There's Paola, Niqua, 1, 2. Keep your hands up, keep your hands up, keep your hands up. 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5. Come back to me, Siri. Pick a number between 1 and 5.
The answer is 5.
All right, the answer is 5. So the winner is going to be Tess Parody. I hope I didn't just butcher your name. Tess Parody. I always butcher people's last names. Tess, same thing. Go to joshuacoates.com, pick a training, shoot me up with a message. So for everyone else, if you did not win and you have not been through one of my training groups, I want to encourage you, go to joshuacoates.com, check out their groups, okay? If nothing else, get my free book. I got a free book. It's called The Mess Before Success. And it's simply a story of my journey through life, all the different messes that I've made, all the different times I've been stupid and been an idiot, and how I just kept going and kept believing and kept moving forward and eventually wound up where I am today. So check out the book. It's totally free. For the rest of you, I do want to encourage you. If you're stuck in your business and you're not seeing the progress and the results that you want to see, okay, I want to ask you this question. If you keep doing the same thing you're doing, will you get different results? Einstein says that's the definition of insanity, to do the same things over and over and expect different results. If you keep doing the same thing, you will not get the results that you want. So what if I told you that you could spend 4 weeks with the person that mentors some of the top Beachbody coaches in the company? And you could get teaching from me, you could get accountability from me, and I would help you to plan and organize to make sure you're doing everything you should be doing. I'm going to be honest. Most of you know everything you should be doing. You're just not doing it. So what if I could put you in an environment just like your guys' challenge groups that you run for health and fitness, where there's positive energy, reinforcements, organization, and accountability to help you for 4 weeks do all the things you already know you should be doing and give you a few extra tips along the way and some extra inspiration along the way. How many of you feel like that would help you get over a few hurdles in your business and move forward? Now, let me ask you this. If you could get through the hurdles in your business, what could that potentially do for you in your life, in your business? Now, my training groups run from $50 to $200. How many of you say for $50 to $200 would be worth having a breakthrough in your business that would create residual income for the rest of your life? So, if that's the case, go to joshuacoates.com, find the training that works for the spot that you're stuck at. If you're struggling to do your 3 vitals, to just stay motivated and consistent, clarity and focus, it's $49. I'm going to teach you the trick to staying motivated, how to get more done in 1 hour than you've ever accomplished in 3 hours for $49. You're going to get 4 weeks. For the rest of you, you're like, Josh, I'm staying motivated. I'm doing my 3 vitals. I'm selling lots of challenge packs, but I can't seem to recruit coaches. If that's you, I have a group called The Art of Recruiting, where I'm going to teach you how to tell your story in a way that draws attention to you and connects with people. I'm going to teach you how to have posts and convos that lead to coaches. I'm going to tell you how to get more confident with your brand, and I'm going to teach you a few closing tips, but more than anything, I'm going to kick you in the pants over and over and over until you get out there and just do it. And we had incredible results in our first month of this training. So if you're struggling with recruiting, go sign up for The Art of Recruiting. I promise you, this is the most value I've ever packed into a training. I get excited just talking about it, honestly, because I know how many people are struggling with this. So go check that out. And now what we'll do is open up for some Q&A. If you have a question, I'm going to ask. I know it's like super elementary, but just raise your hand, and I'm going to try to find people. If I'm not seeing you, try just unmuting yourself and talking at me, and hopefully 20 people don't do it at the same time. But if you have a question about a fear you're struggling with or something that you're going through, this is your chance. You can just talk to me, okay? Don't be shy. Don't be a golden retriever on me. Just come at me, okay? Who's got a question? Now all of you are still on this call, so you're here for a reason, okay? I'm looking for hands. Okay, there I see a hand. Stephanie Parks. I'm going to unmute you. First of all, Stephanie, thank you for breaking the ice.
Hi. So I guess I've been coaching now for 2 years, and I feel recently like I'm kind of running out of content to talk about. So what would your help or suggestion be with that so that I can stay relevant and like still engaging?
So what do you mean by running out of content? Go a little deeper.
I don't know. I feel like I've talked about so much stuff like on my like page over the last 2 years that I don't want to like bore people with the same things, I guess.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. How many, you're talking about your like page?
Yeah.
Okay. How many people like your like page?
About 400 and I think like 25.
Okay, 425 people. How many likes and comments are you getting on your posts?
It depends. Anywhere from 2 to 25.
2 to 25. Do you know what I would be willing to put money on?
What?
I'd be willing to put money on the fact that less than 10% of the people that like your page are seeing anything that you say.
Really?
Let me ask you this. How many friends do you have on Facebook?
800 and some.
Okay, 800 and some. If I were to go through your friends list right now and ask you what all 800 of them posted today, could you answer me?
No.
Could you answer me what 100 of them posted?
No.
How about 50 of them?
No.
How about 30 of them?
Maybe like 2.
Maybe 2 out of how many?
850 something.
So out of 850 people, you only remember what 2 of them said.
Yeah.
Now that tells me that 800 and some, you have no idea what the heck they posted today.
Mm-hmm.
You probably didn't even notice what they posted today. And here's the thing, as Beachbody coaches or as business owners, we're always worried. Are we overexposing ourselves? Are people getting tired of hearing our story? And the truth is, no one has even heard it yet. We are so scared to overshare. And yet, I would bet you $1 million every single time you go downtown or go to a grocery store or go to a restaurant, you see a Coca-Cola logo and you've never once been offended. Anybody ever been offended by a Coca-Cola logo? If anybody is overexposed, it's Coca-Cola, right? But nobody's offended by it. No one's here's the thing. You're scared, Stephanie, that you're saying the same thing over and over and over. But A, very few people are even seeing it. And B, if they are seeing it over and over and they're still following you, that must mean they really want to hear what you have to say. Right?
Yeah.
So do not worry about putting out the same thing over and over. If you go to my page, I put out the same crap all the time. But guess what? People who are following me are inspired by me. Do you know how many times I've told the story of hating my job of detailing cars? You guys got lucky. I went too long tonight, so I left out a lot of details. My youngest son has actually been through 3 open heart surgeries, and I usually play that into the story because it's a pretty dramatic part of the story, right? But my time was cut short. But I've told that story more times than I count. Never once have I got a message from someone that said, dude, can you just like lay off your story? It's really lame and it's getting old. Here's the thing. If you're listening to me, it means you want to hear what I have to say, right? Now, that's not to be arrogant about myself, but in the art of recruiting, I say this. You have to be as arrogant as a rock star and as humble as a homeless person. And what I mean by this is, have you ever got tired of hearing about your favorite band or your favorite singer? Who's your favorite singer or artist or whatever?
Me?
Yep.
I love Britney Spears.
You love Britney Spears. All right. So do you ever get tired of hearing about Britney?
No, never.
Of course you don't, because she's a rock star, right?
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. It's hard for you to believe this because you're not Britney Spears. But to people on Instagram and Facebook that are following your journey, you are a rock star. And they will never get tired of hearing about what you have to say. And your face keeps moving around. I apologize. I'm trying to find you. Every time someone hops off the call, your face moves. I'm like trying to, there you are. So you have to be as arrogant as a rock star, meaning you're willing to just share your story over and over and over and over and over. If you go get a cup of coffee, talk about it. Okay? If you wash your dog, talk about it. If you do a workout, talk about it. But you have to be as humble as a homeless person, meaning you still care about people enough to reach out to them and talk to them and help them. But I promise you this, your content is not getting old.
Okay.
Does that help at all?
Yeah, it's a good reminder. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And it's a great question because so many people are scared of that. If you guys go follow Brittany Powers, who just hit number 10, her Instagram is fitmom_fitbrit. Some of you have heard of her, I hope. There's nothing new going on in her life. She works out every single day. She fixes breakfast for her kids every single day. She takes her kids to gymnastics. She takes her kids to the park. She literally has nothing interesting, and I don't mean that in an insulting way, but she has nothing interesting going on in her life. She just talks about everything that is going on in her life. None of it is like, oh my gosh, Brittany Powers is hanging out with Lady Gaga today. That crazy, that never happens. It's literally just normal life. But she talks about it and people love it because everyone else is sitting around on their couch wishing that they were happy and healthy and enjoying life and playing with their kids. She's just doing it and willing to talk about it. And everyone wants to. She's got 75,000 followers on Instagram. And if you go to her page, every single post has like 500 likes on it. Nobody's tired of hearing about Brittany going to Target. You're still tuning in every single day to see which new tank top Brittany got from Target. Okay, anybody else have a question? Thank you for your question, Stephanie. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anybody else? They're like, I don't want to ask him a question now. Jeez. Any other questions? Come on, don't be bashful. You're all still on here for a reason. You want to hear answers. You just don't want to be the one to ask the question, right? Am I right? Yep.
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time out to do this call.
You're welcome, Melissa. You're more than welcome. What was your biggest takeaway tonight?
The fact that fear is selfish. It's flat out. It's 100% accurate.
Yeah.
False evidence appearing real is mind-blowing. It's
way cool.
4 little words that can change everything.
Yeah, definitely. So let me ask you, what's the biggest fear you've been dealing with?
Put me on the spot. One fear would have to be not taking myself truthfully. Like, I don't know if that doesn't really make sense, but
it's okay. Go into a little more detail for me.
My fear would be if I put myself out there, it's going to come back as negative.
Yeah. So you're afraid you're going to put yourself out there. You're going to go all in, put yourself on the line, and it's not going to pay off, right?
Basically, yeah.
So maybe you put yourself out there, you share your story, you get vulnerable, and there's no payoff to it whatsoever, then you just end up sitting around feeling like a big idiot because now everyone knows you're garbage and you don't even have anything to show for it. Has that happened before?
It has.
Way
too many times.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. What sucks about your life? What is it that you want to change? And you don't have to go into any embarrassing details, but just give me a few things that you want to see changed.
Well, health, of course.
Okay.
Health is going to change my family because it's holding me back from procreating, having a family with my husband.
Okay.
Money. That's, in today's society, that's number one. Stop getting sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are some pretty valuable things, aren't they?
It is.
So what if going all in, putting yourself out there, what if you did that and it still didn't work out and you still didn't end up getting to have a kid? Would it have been worth it to try?
Yes.
So not only is what do you have to lose versus what do you have to gain a great question, but here's another question. Okay? Do I want to live the rest of my life wondering what if? And that's another question I used to ask myself all the time. It's not
every single day.
It's not specifically a part of my training per se, but maybe I should add it in there because I did. What if I go all in for the next 5 years and my business never takes off? I mean, that's a scary thing to think about. But what's scarier is to think, what if I settle for a miserable life and wake up at the age of 80 and go, what just happened? Right? I'm pretty sure I'd be a lot happier to know that I at least gave my all and just found out what happened. It's definitely a valid fear to think that maybe it won't pay off because we know that not everyone has success in this business. But Melissa, from working with some really successful people in this business, and I don't say that to toot my own horn, okay? I just want you to realize the kind of rock stars that these people are, okay? I have still yet to find one person who is flawless. I've still yet to find one person who really is smarter or more talented than everyone else. You know what I found? I found a bunch of people that were just willing to do what no one else was willing to do. That's it. Someone just said Beyonce is flawless. But here's the thing, even with Beyonce, there are a million women on this planet just as beautiful as her that just ain't willing to get up on stage and shake their booty in front of a bunch of people. There are a million people who sing just as good. In fact, I would bet there are a million people who sing better than Beyonce, but they weren't willing to put themselves out there and get on stage 5 nights a week until they found someone that was willing to give them a record contract. I used to play music too. That's another part of my story. I play 3 different instruments and I used to tour around the country. And some of the most incredible musicians I've ever met in my life are the least successful ones. Some of 90% of the people that you hear on the radio, if you're not a musician, you may not know this, but 90% of the people you hear on the radio are subpar, average musicians and singers. But they were willing to put themselves out there and to play show after show after show. When people booed at them, they played another show. When no one showed up for their show, they played another show, and they just kept going until someone did buy in. The only difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is, are you willing to keep going? That's it. I promise you this, God created every single one of us with the ability to evolve and adapt. Every single one of us are such incredible creatures that there's literally nothing on the planet we couldn't do if we just put our mind to it for long enough. But the problem is, most people, like 95% of people, either A, don't believe it, so they never try it, or they try it, but they don't stick with it long enough to find out what they're really capable of. When I first started working with Brittany Powers about 10 or 11 months ago, and I'm not sharing this to try to embarrass her. I've asked her for her permission to share this, okay? 10 or 11 months ago, she was number 35 in the company. She was a 2-star diamond and wasn't even hosting her own team calls yet because she was scared to death of public speaking. Now, here's a girl who's hitting Success Club 75, okay? Every single month. This last month, she hit Success Club 120. And she was scared to do team calls. Now, when we think of top 10 coaches, we think of these incredible, charismatic people, and they have it all together, and they have 6-pack abs and perfect tans and blonde hair, and they're absolutely beautiful and gorgeous, and there's nothing wrong with them. And the truth is, that's not the truth. Now, have some of them become that in the process? Sure, because with having that kind of success, it does give you a certain kind of confidence. It gives you a certain kind of belief, but none of them started out that way. Now, Brittany Powers is going to be speaking at Summit. 11 months ago, she didn't even have it in her to do her own team call. And once again, I don't say that to insult Brittany. I've asked Brittany for her permission because to me, she is the staple of believing and moving forward even when you don't really believe at all, and just sticking to your guns and finding out what happens, man. I love Brittany to death because of the fact that she doesn't have all this natural talent or speaking skills or leadership skills. She just shows up every single day and works harder than anybody else. You won't find a harder worker than Brittany Powers. And that's why she's successful, not because she has some magic sauce. I don't know if that helps at all, but I hope that helps to hear there are no magical people out there. There's just people that show up every day, day in, day out, consistently put themselves on the line. Whether we're talking about Beachbody, whether we're talking about music, whether we're talking about whatever, people just willing to go all in and find out what the heck happens, And if you fall on your face, guess what? We've fallen on our face before. We can always get back up. I mean, it sucks, right? But again, it doesn't suck as bad as waking up at the age of 90 and going, what did I even do? Did I help anybody? Did I stand for did I make a difference? Or am I literally going to die and just be forgotten forever because I didn't do anything to make this world a better place? I don't know about you guys, but I really, really, really want my name to go in history books. I know that sounds stupid and crazy, but I really, really want to make big enough of a difference in the world that people still talk about me 100 years from now. Why? Because if they're not talking about me 100 years from now, I have to wonder what I really did. Did I really help the world that much if no one's even talking about me once I'm gone? I want to make such a huge difference in the world that 100 years from now, people are still talking about it. And what I did now is still working. Like Martin Luther King Jr., man. We're still talking about the dude. Why? Because he set into motion a movement that will never die, ever. He put so much energy out there that the words he spoke will live on forever. And I don't care if books never exist again. You can go find that dude's speech on Spotify. No matter how much our world evolves, people will find a way to still put his words out there because, man, he made a difference. I want to be that dude. Anyways, I know that was really, 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 really long answer, but I'm kind of long-winded, and that's kind of what I tend to do. So, but thank you for asking your question. I appreciate it, Melissa. Does anybody else? I got time for one more question. Okay. Hand went up first. Logan Turner's hand went up first. What's up, Logan?
Hey, well, I was kind of like trying to think of the question that I had, and what you were just saying really kind of goes along with that. But it's this. So I'm a new coach. I just started last month,
Way
and
cool. Well,
I have this.
congrats
Thank you.
and welcome.
Thank you. So I have this fear that like my approach will be wrong, and I won't get to like that. I'll be sort of clumsy with it. I won't quite give them the right information and turn them off. And then that's a life that I've just let slip through my fingers. And how do I deal with that sort of paralyzing fear?
Yes. No, that's a very valid fear, Logan. It is. So let me ask you this. How did you learn how to ride a bike?
Trial and error. You fall over and you get back on, and your parents hold on to the back for as long as you can, and then they let go, and you go, holy crap, I can do it.
So you fell a lot,
and
each time you fell, you learned, right? As long as you kept trying. Now, if you give up, you just never learn how to ride a bike, and that then you get made fun of, right?
Yeah.
Riding around on your big wheel for the rest of your life until you're 16 and can get a car. So here's the cool thing about learning how to ride a bike is it literally taught us the most valuable lesson we'll ever learn in life about learning and growth. Learning and growth can only happen by falling down over and over and over. So you're worried about the people that you may not help because of not having the right solution, right? Here's what you should be worried about. What will happen if you don't fall off the bike enough times to learn? Because the longer it takes you to learn, the more lives are just sitting around needing help, right?
Yeah.
So if I were you, you're worried about the wrong thing. If I were you, I would say, let's fall off this bike as many freaking times as I can so that I can learn how to get it right and then help a bunch of people.
Right.
But if I let that fear hang around in the back of my head, I'm going to be hesitant to even reach out and try to get on the bike, right? Because I'm worried that maybe I'll fall again. And that means I let someone down and their life won't get changed, right?
Right.
And in that hesitation, you're literally letting lives slip by like crazy. What if you do slip and fall? Well, number one, you learn a lesson. But number two, you may have got someone plugged in that didn't even need your help. I mean, Alexis Doss, who was on the call earlier, her second month in the company signed Carly Del Carlo. I don't know if you ever heard of her. Probably not since you're a new coach. But she was top 10 in 2014. Alexis Doss literally had her entire life changed because she signed a coach, went and had coffee with this girl, signed her on. Now, Alexis was a brand new coach. She didn't know really how to help this girl. But this girl, Carly Del Carlo, said, I'm going to figure this thing out and I'm going to go to the top. And she did. Top 10. Now, if Alexis had not been willing to fail, if she'd have thought, you know what, I'm only 2 months in, I really shouldn't be signing coaches, right?
Right.
Carly Del Carlo would not exist in the Beachbody world. Do you know who inspired Brittany Powers to go for top 10? Carly Del Carlo is in the same downline. Carly Del Carlo showed the whole downline what was possible. And because of that, Brittany Powers hit top 10 last year. She'll probably do it again this year. And tons of other people are being now inspired by Brittany Powers' journey. Now, the next Carly Del Carlo could be one of your Facebook friends. Could be one of your Instagram followers. Could be one of the people that you're going to add to your friends list tomorrow. Are you going to fail a couple people in the process? Absolutely. Absolutely. But that's the only way to learn. And it doesn't mean you were trying to hurt anybody. Okay? If someone does sign on with you, guess what? They're going to learn how to become healthy, right? They're going to learn how to step out of their comfort zone, and they're going to do some personal development. If nothing else, they're going to walk away a much better person than they were before you knew them, right?
Right.
So if you think about it, there's really nothing to lose at all, is there?
Nope.
Does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Someone's talking about protein ice cream down there. Come on, guys. What's going on here? All right. Well, awesome. Thank you guys all so much for being on tonight. I appreciate it so much. I know some of you are up till almost 11 on the East Coast, but thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you guys so much. Please come find me on Facebook. Shoot me a friend request. Shoot me a message and let me know what you learned tonight. And go face your fears. Build the life that you really, really deserve and change other people's lives in the process. Okay? Good night, guys.